There's calls for workers on the front line to be given a pay bump as they continue to front up despite the potential risks to their physical and mental health. The Union for Retail, Fast Food and Warehousing wants an essential payment of $5 per hour to be put in place for those ready to serve. Joining me now is Gerard Dwyer he's the National Secretary of the Shoppies Distributive and Allied Employees Association. Gerard, thanks so much for your time. Why is this required and when?
It is required to ensure that our frontline workers actually are at work, but also are properly recognised for being there. The government is likely to move to stage 2 shutdowns, be that nationally or, as the Prime Minister indicated on Sunday night, it could be in localised areas. But wherever that is, whenever it happens, the frontline workers, those people working in our supermarkets, our pharmacies, our petrol stations, need to be recognised for the fact that they'll be going into workplaces which will be more intense, they will be working harder, and they will be riskier workplaces. And this $5 per hour flat payment for all workers in those essential retail services will be something that actually keeps the wheels turning in our industry, makes sure that our people are there at work and recognises them for continuing to serve the Australian community.
What would it cost?
Well, the cost of $5 per hour, of course, going into payrolls of larger companies, our supermarkets in this country are large employers, so it will run into millions. But remember, if we move into stage 2, and the retail spend in this country is directed solely into supermarkets, pharmacies and petrol stations, it means those tills will be turning over. The money will be coming in, and we believe that there is a capacity to pay. And there is always, in the background, the capacity for the government to step in and actually provide direct wage subsidies. But our bottom line is our workers, our frontline workers in retail, in those pharmacies and in those petrol stations need to be recognised for the fact that they'll be going into work, continuing to serve the Australian community in a time of high anxiety.
It is a time of high anxiety. Some of my family members work in retail and look, they're still open, they're still operating as normal. Obviously, the numbers of customers are down. But are you confident that they have the safety precautions in place? I mean, if you're a retail worker, you are exposed to the public more than most. Do they have all the protections in place?
Laura, not yet. We've been engaged with companies across the sector for weeks now, talking about occupational health and safety measures to put in place. And yesterday we announced a 10-point plan to actually ensure that across the industry we have uniform standards. We're calling for perspex screens to be in front of checkout operators. We're calling for hand sanitizer, good quality hand sanitizer to be available right throughout workplaces. We want our stores to go cashless. Cash is a carrier. We want a cashless retail sector to lock in straight away. We're calling for signage in stores, and we're calling for customers to be more respectful for retail workers, and we're asking that the industry actually bumps up their commitment to that cause. So we've got a range of health and safety measures that we've been talking about for weeks, and which we put into a bundle, a 10-point plan for health and safety for retail workers yesterday, and we'll continue to prosecute that in the coming weeks.